Hey guys, how's it going? Sam here again, and welcome back to the Mothership build vlog. Now you should notice straight off the bat, hopefully the footage is a little less shaky as I'm now using Hypersmooth 2.0 on the GoPro. Should have been using that from the start, but I didn't realize I was actually that shaky. And also the audio should be a bit more consistent and maybe a little better as I now have the GoPro mic attachment and with a lavalier mic just here. So hopefully it should be better, you know, when I turn the camera it shouldn't go all fuzzy or anything like that. So let's see where we got with the Mothership. I managed to get the hard drives in, front rad, top rad, motherboard, hoping to get in the pump and the graphics card. One thing I did want your opinion on though is this front rad here. So basically I thought maybe I could put these fans here to the front here, but it would mean that I miss out on this dust filter here. So I'd have the fans at the front here, and then this is the front panel here. I was maybe going to cut out, you know, along here and then down here and then make all that mesh. And that way I get good airflow. And if you look on the inside here, I'd basically have to cut through there, cut all these out all the way up there, cut this out here, and then yeah, make that mesh, which means that air getting through the sides here wouldn't be filtered unless I put mesh all the way to the sides, but that might be tricky with the way that these are. And then that way I can have the fans there without being choked to get nice fresh airflow, and it'd give me more area here to actually mount the pump. As here, it's actually quite tight. You mount the pump. I thought this case would actually be a bit bigger, more like the Primo, but unfortunately it's not. So there's a few compromises and stuff. And also I thought I might maybe do the same to the front, no, not the front, sorry, to the top panel as well, just to make it look more consistent. So, you know, cut maybe along here and make this mesh, or fly screen is what I'll actually be using. But the top already has a dust filter, so I don't know whether to maybe remove that, or if I have a second lot of filtering, that might block a lot of air. So I'm not too sure if I'll do it to the top or not. I just wanted it to maybe look a bit more consistent instead of a big hole in the front and actually nothing in the top. But, you know, it's only me that's going to be looking at it. But it'd be nice to have your opinion, I guess. One thing I did want to say though is about these hard drives here. You won't actually see these, so don't think this is, you know, what the build is going to look like. There'll be a modification that goes on in here that'll block out these hard drives. I'll also be popping all these out as they pop out. Let me see if I can just do that. It's very hard one-handed, but yeah, they pop out like that. Gonna pop all them out and then probably put a big acrylic panel along there that'll have the pump mounted to it. Pump and res, I should say, it's a combo. So there will be some mods that obviously go on. The graphics card itself will be vertically mounted, and that'll have a water block as well, like you probably saw in the first episode. I've just got to put that on. And then I'm not too sure about my runs yet. I did actually want to use pass-through fittings, but I found that this case is actually too small. Like if you look here, I wanted to sort of have maybe some that come up or across. But like once I put in the res, let me show you here. Let's basically put in the res, that takes up all that free space there. All of it, because of the fans there. That's why I sort of had the idea of maybe putting the fans to the front to give me more space. But we'll see how all this goes. You know, I'll change my mind probably another couple of times before this ends, and this build could be completely different, but let's get on with it. So as I was about to move the fans to the front, I realized that just here is where the top fan screws are, which means that this here would impact with a fan sitting at the front. So there goes that idea. Bugger. So it's basically been about 2 months since the first section of this video where I did the graphics card block, and in that time it's just been a lot of decision making. At the end of that day I just did a hell of a lot of cable management, which took about an hour or two, so that's where I spent most of my time. So it's a lot of stuff you won't see. I will show you cable management at the end. It's about 95% cable managed, but I am going to have to pull it apart due to some things that I will tell you about in a second. But yeah, so it's been about 2 months. I've been ordering some parts for it, been busy with work and things like that, so it's taken me a little while to get through to it, but we're going to spend some time today and let's see how far we can get. Let's take a look at where I got to though first. So this is where I got to. So I have the graphics card block in. I've also bent some tubes over like the last month or two that I haven't been really working on this, just as I had an idea that I'm going to actually put an acrylic panel across there that then bends backwards, and all these are going to go into it, sort of like that, like parallel tubing there, parallel there, parallel there. So it's sort of like a distro block, and all the like the nasty tubes that joins them all together will be in behind. So these will look really clean, and then around the back is where all the busy work really is. But to do that, I'm gonna have to take this radiator out and this one. Also down here, like I said, I'm going to have an acrylic panel down here, which is going to be up and bent. I've bought myself an acrylic bender actually, which would be pretty cool. I've been practicing a little bit with that. And there's some leftover bits of tubes and some tubes that I will be using, because once I put it together, you'll sort of understand what I mean. One thing that sort of led me to this was I wasn't sure how I was going to put in this reservoir. So originally I was going to put it on an acrylic panel at the back end. It was going to be like that, and then it was just going to be another boring water cooling loop basically. But instead, as you see here, I've bought a 120 mount kit for it. I'm going to mount it there, and basically all tubes are going to point into the back of the case. And then, yeah, like I said, all the busy work will go on there. But let's pull this apart and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what I sort of meant, like a distro block sort of thing. So they come around here and look really clean, like straight lines, and then around the back you do with the dirty work to connect them all up. So it looks good from the front, but around the back, yeah, you don't really want to look at it. I will have to drill out the radiator mount that's in behind there, just so that there's more room. But other than that, you know, this should be pretty clean. So I managed to drill out all the rivets that held that there in, so that'll give me a heap more space behind that acrylic panel now to add all the messy work in. Awesome. So this is sort of where I got to at the end, sort of a sideways step, as I didn't get the front rad back in or the top rad, but managed to get that panel done, which will be painted and everything. That panel there, that's a little secret of what's going there. Hopefully you can work it out. If you know the Mothership 2.0, you kind of know what I'd be doing there. But other than that, thanks guys for watching. Look forward to part 3, which hopefully it'll be done in part 3. I'm going to definitely try my hardest to have it done then. Thanks very much. See ya. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you really enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more vlogs and other content in the future. If you have a suggestion, question, or criticism, leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching.